Okay, and thank you for being here. If you are thinking about moving to Charleston and you instantly had the conversation of flood zones, pump the brakes and change your mind, we're here to help you with that because it doesn't have to be the end all be all of the conversation. Flood zones are part of the process of buying in here, just like some of the other things. So,
Yeah, and if you take out the homes that are in a flood zone, you're probably reducing your search by about 80%
yeah,
of the homes in the Charleston area. So
yeah.
it's, it's a part of life.
And, it's coming from California, it becomes the conversation both two ways. Either you're having the conversation about earthquakes or you're having the conversation about solar in California. So at least those were my conversations and the transactions of doing this. But
Yeah.
Welcome to Reality Bites. We are happy you're here. We do this every Tuesday live at 5. And we're calling it Reality Bites as a bit of a throwback to being Gen Xers in the movie and kind of the reality of what it is to leave California and relocate to South Carolina and call the Charleston area, Summerville, home. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And if you are watching us live, throw an XXX in the chat if you've got a question for us. And let us know where you're watching from, and kind of give us a heads up on what flood zone, what instantly comes to mind when you think about moving to Charleston and flood zones. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, I remember when we went on a carriage ride in Charleston and there was some light rain and there was like deep puddles.
Yes.
And they said, well, we're at 0 feet to sea level. So
that kind of hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, what does that mean? 0 feet. We've never been 0 feet before.
Mm-mm.
You just think the waves are washing on the shore.
I know, right?
But the cool thing is just like in California, if you're watching from there, somewhere in between, it just becomes a part of the conversation, like we said, and we become very, very adept at helping navigate the FEMA maps. Obviously, that's kind of what you need a realtor for, is to kind of walk you through that. But it becomes something that you just have a conversation, whether you're buying inland or in the Charleston area.
Well, yeah, because one of the myths is that if you're in a flood zone, your house is going to flood.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Because you think you're just going to get a hurricane and everything's just going to come and take away everything. Kind of like when you're on a cruise and you're like, we're going to get a rogue wave and we're going to flip over. Yeah. That doesn't happen. I mean, it does happen, but Charleston, as a matter of fact, hasn't had a hurricane hit it in multiple years, like a head on hitting, Lord willing, knock on wood, all of it. That doesn't happen. But like even in 2025, we didn't even have a hurricane.
Yeah, mostly tropical storms.
Yeah.
And I guess because of the way the East Coast is shaped, it just kind of whoop, skirts right around us.
Tucked in. We're tucked in between North Carolina and Georgia. So we don't get a lot of it like direct hits. Mm-hmm. So praise the Lord for that. Yeah. But all that to say, even with a direct hit, it's still, you're not necessarily dealing with the absolute like, oh, here's the storm hitting my house. Right. The stuff that happens is going to be your the rainfall that settles, like when the flood rises. Mm-hmm. And hail is part of the flood zone. You wouldn't expect that, but hail is. And then wind is also part of your something to be considering. So we're not here to scare you. We're going to walk you through it all, but we're alive and well. And there are 1.5 million here in the 3-county area, the Tri-County area. So we're all alive and well. We're not, we're thriving.
No one's scared.
We're thriving. So go ahead, Dan, with the next slide.
Well, I was, then the next question is like, okay, if I'm in a flood zone, then is my insurance going to be expensive, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with there's letter designations that they use for the different flood zones. So for example, if you're working with us and you're like, hey, Dan and Angel, what's a good letter for a flood zone? That's going to be X is what we're hoping for.
We're kind of partial to that one.
Yeah. And our house is in a zone X.
X is the least expensive and the least amount of risk. So we go up from there, right? So we start at X and we're yay, happy, low. If your loan requires you to get homeowner or flood insurance, I almost said homeowners insurance, then you want to kind of do your best to hope and pray that you land at X.
Well, yeah. And then, one aspect of X is that insurance is optional.
Right. That's the other element.
So a lot of people will do it just for the peace of mind, because to Angel's point, it's not as expensive. But in an X rating, if you say, I don't want to spend any extra money on my monthly expenses, you can opt out.
Yeah. And then it becomes, okay, if not X, then what's the next level of insurance flood insurance? And is that affordable? Right. Because what can happen very quickly is you can come in with like a hard and fast, like if this house is in a flood zone, we're not buying it. Had a similar experiences in California, buying and selling with clients there, is they would do the same thing with solar. Absolutely not. Can't stand it. Don't want it. Don't understand it. Blah, blah, blah. And then to Dan's point, like you're ruling out a large portion of houses that you can look at because so many of them have solar, in especially California and Arizona. Same thing here. If you rule that out, you've eliminated resale. You've eliminated certain new construction. You've eliminated living near or close to the water, which, by the way, there's water everywhere here.
Yeah. And downtown historic Charleston still stands. So if the hurricanes were that bad, it would be a wasteland, and it's not. And
you really knock out some of the most beautiful communities when you come in hard and fast. So our first advice on that conversation is pump the brakes.
Yeah,
don't be hard and fast.
Panic.
Don't panic.
Don't panic.
I like your definition better than mine. By the way, if you are new here, we are Dan and Angel. We're Gen X realtors here in the Charleston area. We currently live in Somerville, which is a suburb of Charleston.
And fun fact, we're at 89 feet.
Oh yeah, we're super high. We're not at 0.
No. So
anyway,
strategic.
Yeah. So we relocated here. If that's something you're thinking about and you want a little bit of a handhold on what that looks like and financially can impact you, we would love to be the ones that walk you through that, because it's very near and dear, right behind our eyebrows. We just did it. Yeah. And this video and podcast is sponsored by our relocation checklist. So if you are thinking about, okay, what are the steps? We made the decision to move. Feel free to go in the description, whether you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on the podcast, it's in the show notes below, whether you're watching it or listening to it. And that is free of charge for you to take it.
We've done all the work for you. We did it the hard way, and we've put things in place to have it be a smooth transition.
Yeah. And it's not again, we're showing you all of our cards. It's not a bait and switch. It's not so that we can, start to hound you about buying a house here. It's a straight up, like, here you go. Enjoy that, because we didn't have that. We kind of closed our eyes and pointed at a map and went right there, which I do not recommend. You do?
Well, spice of life. It's adventure,
Yeah. So anyway, this is why we're together almost 26 years, because we're so very, very different when it comes to things like this. But anyway, so go ahead, and you were explaining about the different zones. I didn't mean to.
Right. So then you get into zones that are like AE, where there's like more of a risk, like it might be near a river, or it might be more closer to the coast, but still inland a little bit. And then you're going to see higher. Well, first of all, there's going to be a requirement for insurance. And then secondly, it's going to cost more than like an X-rated zone.
X-rated.
Whoa.
Yeah. We don't want that.
I misspoke.
The other, that brought something to mind about, the waterways here. So everybody just thinks, oh, ocean. There are water and bridges and rivers and
marshes
and
creeks.
Yes. So as we've said multiple times, there's water everywhere, but like it depends on where you are, how severe it is. So the AE helps you kind of, it's like the way we remember that is like, it's a little bit expensive. It's AE, a little expensive. Versus X is like, big arm X. And then as you do start to get into some of the beachfront properties and the homes that are like facing the river and have a deep water dock, that's when you're going to get into the other zones.
Then you get into like a zone called VE, which
very expensive.
Very expensive.
Yes, VE.
And that has more to do with like there might be waves.
Yeah.
Involved in the location of your home.
Involved. Waves are involved in my home ownership. I never thought I'd have that conversation.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
And thereby going with the obviously a little bit more expensive and very expensive. Your homeowner's insurance is gonna be very, very attentive to which kind of zone you are and which kind of zone you need to be insured for. Not only your homeowner's insurance, or excuse me, not only the flood insurance, but also your homeowner's insurance. At that point, it's really non-negotiable, the amount of, it's non-negotiable that you have to have it. Now you just have to figure out like which company is going to get you the best rate for it because the house is going to be beautiful.
Well, yeah. And as another tip is in some cases, you can acquire the policy of the prior owner.
Oh yeah, that's a good tip.
And what that helps with is it can reduce the cost of the insurance because this insurance company already knows the history of the home.
Right.
They already know like, well, this home hasn't flooded yet. So if that's an opportunity for you, we would look into that on your behalf to see if that policy can be transferred from the previous owner's name into your name.
Yeah.
And another thing. If you're looking at new construction in the Charleston area, these guys know that flooding is a concern. So they do all kinds of cool stuff. They do retention ponds that help direct the water away from your home and your streets. They do elevated foundations where the foundation might be 3-6 inches, or it could even be an elevated.
Yeah, you see that a lot, especially in like Mount Pleasant and Johns Island, James Island. All of them are elevated.
Yeah, and the first floor is a garage, and it does not have solid walls. It might have a slat wall. Yeah, because if it does flood, they want that water going through the house, not into the house.
Right. Which, nobody wants to lose what's in their garage, but you get very, very specific about what you're going to put in your garage when you're in an elevated home. Obviously your car is going to take a hit, but you don't put a lot of the stuff that if your house were one with no basement and it was just one story that you'd be like, yeah, throw it in the garage, not with an elevated home here. Anyway, let's take a fast because we got tons of data. We don't want to overload you. We want to remind you that we are fun too.
Yeah, we're super fun.
Do we have anybody that has asked us a comment in the
let's see,
asked us a question? No, nothing.
Not yet. At this time.
Okay. If you're watching on replay and you have a question about flood zones, feel free to drop that in the description below. If you're listening on the audio podcast, shoot us an email, genxrealtorslc@gmail.com. And we can answer that for you and just, let us know. But now it's time for, drum roll, please, the Gen X fun fact.
Oh, is that what's happening right now?
So as you know, Dan tries to stump me on all of the fun things that we had back in the day. Music, movies, quotes, bands, peg leg shoes, Doc Martens, grunge. And he tries, or toys. Last week it was toys, right? Wasn't it? Oh no, last week was
kind of a toy.
It was big wheel.
Yeah. Big wheel, yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
So a fun thing about being Gen X was you could crank call people.
Oh gosh. And did we ever?
Like you would call someone and say, hey, is your refrigerator running? And they would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you better go catch it.
Right. Or you could like straight up stalk somebody in the phone book. I mean, there was everybody freaks out about security nowadays. The phone book had
your name, your address,
your address, your phone number. Oh my gosh, what zip code you were in. There was no mystery at all. And we just went down the line. Oh, look at all the Smiths, all of the Joneses, all the Przybylskis. Like there was no, anyway, what's my fact?
So the question is, what feature ruined crank calling?
Caller ID. No,
not first. No, there was something before that.
What feature ruined crank calling? Well, the busy signal. Was it the busy signal? Because you couldn't crank.
Nope.
What feature? Oh, redial. Redial. What did we do? 09? What was it? 09?
Oh, star 69.
Yes.
You'd
be found out.
Here's the fun side note to that is in 1989, it started in Illinois.
Oh, whoops. It's all you guys.
And then in the 90s, it took over the rest of the country. So then you'd crank call somebody and hang up and be like, oh my gosh, we got him.
Yeah.
And then your phone would ring. You'd be like, oh
no.
I'm in so much trouble.
Gosh. Remember redial too? You could do redial just when you were calling in the radio station.
Redial. Oh yeah.
Redial. All the numbers.
Yeah.
And you would hear it just be like, the caller you're trying to reach. Oh my gosh. Nobody understands how awesome that was. Redial.
And now there's computers that do all that stuff for you. So they took all the fun out of everything.
AI, everything. Well done, Dan.
Oh, thank you.
Done. Gen X fun fact for the win right there. Okay. We're talking about flood zones. So we had X, which everybody shoots for, which might be a little straight up. You might be just more inland. Like that's another way to look at it is X. You're generally inland. AE, a little expensive, a little more expensive. V, very expensive, very expensive. And then go on, Dan. What's the last one?
Well, there's V and VE,
Yes.
so they're kind of.
V is very, very. I don't know why I'm doing it in an accent. I watched Emma the other night, so maybe that's it.
Is very extra expensive.
But generally speaking, if you're having a conversation, if you're buying a home in a V or a VE, homeowners insurance and flood insurance are probably not top on your list. I mean, you're just
you're like I'm balling like that, where I can live at the coast. Do
people still say baller?
They need to.
I do. We do. That's because we're old school, but yeah, they need to.
Still awesome.
Yeah.
It hasn't been banned.
No, it hasn't been canceled. Oh my gosh. So,
but here, here's what you can do. You can, it's all up to you. If you're the person buying the house, it's your most important investment. You're going to decide how important a flood zone is to you. It's just like in California. If you're worried about earthquakes, don't move to San Andreas. Right?
Well, the whole, anyway, but it is similar in California. By the way, side note, you can buy earthquake insurance here in South Carolina. Isn't that adorable?
There is a fault running through Charleston. I had no idea. I thought we were getting away from one disaster into another.
It's a 2.9 and they're like, did anybody feel that? I'm like, a car drove by fast in front of my house.
Yeah, but if you do the downtown Charleston tours, you'll see these big old anchor.
Yeah.
I don't know, these round circles that are bolted through the entire building.
Because of earthquakes.
We had earthquakes and we want the buildings to stay put.
It's amazing when you realize just how long that city has been here. You're like, oh my gosh. But all that to say, it's a decision that you will need to make, but not first. It shouldn't be the deal breaker, like we like to say in real estate. Is this a deal breaker? Because if you let that be a deal breaker, you have really narrowed the amount of homes that you're going to be able to see if you want a home with no flood potential whatsoever.
Right.
And again, like we said at the beginning, it's not a matter of just waves coming on shore. It's rain, it's hail, it's wind. All of that FEMA keeps into a nice little package. And that's how if we had any kind of understanding how they did their systems, we would you would probably be buying stuff from us besides houses.
Yeah.
You would be like, oh, that's the Przybylski, whatever. But all that to say is like, we don't understand 100% how FEMA puts their maps together, because one house on one street could be X, 4 doors down could be AE, and it's the same house.
Yep.
So we don't claim to understand it, but we do claim to be the ones to help you understand it and to help you not make it a deal breaker before you even consider moving.
Yeah. And it's all part of the whole package. So if you have a budget in mind and you're thinking, well, that flood insurance is going to put it over the top, then that might not be the house for you. And we could look for something in a different zone.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've said through my entire career in California and here to our clients and to my clients there is like, everything comes with risk. It just becomes a matter of what level of risk you're comfortable taking on. There were homeowners in California that were like, I could never own a home with a pool. And then you go through one summer in Bakersfield at 110, 4 or 5 days in a row, trick or treat, you want a home with a pool because you're like, I'm dying. I'm inside. I'm tired of being not wet and not cool. Get me a house with a pool. So the same thing here. If you live and die by like, no, I'm never going to have a house that's close to the water, that has high flood insurance, you might be rethinking that after you buy your house, because you might just be like, well, why move? It doesn't look cute and pretty and near water.
I mean, if you look in a neighborhood and all the houses around it are vacant, then there might be a reason to be concerned, but there's people living in these homes. And if they were nervous about it, they wouldn't live there.
And also, when you want to get inland, like there are still flood zones inland. I know I made the comment earlier that you're probably not going to be near water, but like in communities like St. George and Walterboro, again, water is everywhere. We're called the low country. There's water everywhere, waterways and creeks like Dan described. But you would be looking at a property that you wouldn't think is a flood zone, but the way the water runoff and the trees and the arbitrary parts of the overflow would run, trick or treat, you are in a flood zone. And you could be like, oh, we need acreage, we need to homestead, we need to do all of that. And then, oh, now you're inland and you're in a flood zone and you're in your land of your dreams.
Yeah.
So anyway, all that to say, we are here for you. We're not trying to overwhelm you. I might be doing that. So let me just let you know that we are here every Tuesday. Here's a little tease. Next Tuesday, the 31st, we are going to have a guest. We're going to have a guest, and she is going to hold our hand through some of the other things that we talk about on this channel, which is probate. So we're hoping to get a probate attorney to help answer some of the questions. So if you are watching this on replay, you might want to tune in live next Tuesday, the 31st, so that you can ask your questions of that probate attorney. If you want to watch one of our recorded videos, that is also on the channel, where we do walk you through, where we are downtown Charleston, showing you different flood zones and what those might look like in and around the Charleston, Somerville area. Feel free to knock around on the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, we love you. We thank you for being here as well. And anything else, Dan? I think we got it.
We are here to help you. If you have concerns about flood zones, if you want to learn more about flood zones, we're the folks.
How many times can we say flood zones in one video?
I know. We should have like doing shots.
Oh gosh. Okay.
For flood zones. When you're in a flood zone. And if you want to learn about flood zones.
We will see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.